Midday, Kentucky. Everyone, of course, we are live out here at Shakespeare & Co. And we want everyone to just have an open conversation. And if you've been living under a rock, hopefully not, you have seen a video that has gone viral over the last few days in regards to two African-American men that were arrested in a Starbucks in Philadelphia who were charged with trespassing. Okay? So the conversation along here is, should they have been charged for trespassing? Is it against the law not to be ordering something at Starbucks? So I want to, have this dialogue. What do you think?
Well, they were not charged with it. They're arrested on suspicion of, and then Starbucks declined to press the charges. But it's so interesting. So what happened is these two men went to the Starbucks. They asked to use the restroom. An employee essentially told them, if you haven't bought anything, you can't use the restroom. They were waiting for a friend, and something transpired, and the employee called the police saying they were trespassing. So they were just waiting for the friend. I know the friend showed up, and now the Starbucks CEO is apologizing, saying it was reprehensible what happened, and they've agreed to meet. The two men and the Starbucks CEO will be meeting. But I kind of wonder, with this instant outrage that comes out of these events when we don't know exactly what happened, I'm interested to see, I hope that we get a joint statement from these two men and the CEO. What did they talk about, and how do they think maybe policies can be changed going forward so that doesn't happen? So I'm glad to see that they're meeting, and I'd like to see some kind of joint statement come out.
I got you.
Right.
Lisa?
And the store manager never intended, he said that he never intended for the gentleman to be arrested for anything whatsoever. But my question is, the gentlemen were there for what, 15 minutes? About 15 minutes, somewhere in that time frame, and didn't order anything.
I believe it was about half an hour.
Okay,
Yeah.
well, regardless of that amount of time, have you all been to Starbucks several times where you haven't ordered something for that amount of time?
Here's the funny thing. I remember when Starbucks first opened in Australia, and one of their conversations to get you to come in is, hey, we have free Wi-Fi,
Yes.
come in and enjoy our experience.
Yeah.
Yep.
And actually, sit down, relax, spend your afternoon, have friends come and meet you. I'm a little bit surprised that there is such an uproar about this. Now, uproar because they were going to be arrested.
Right.
They were going to be. What I don't understand is, like Katie and I were saying in our pre-production meeting, is that we don't even know the full circumstances yet.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to see that everyone makes a public opinion about this. And I mean, it has gone crazy. Even celebrities are now tweeting out about it and putting it on Instagram. And I just wonder when we should wait.
Right, take a pause.
Take a pause, find out the issues. There was a call that maybe one of the staff should have been fired, maybe the manager should be fired.
Right.
I believe the CEO didn't say that any of that is happening just yet, but they were going to review their policies.
And I think that's good. I think that I don't demand, the person is fired right away, but I would want to know what happened and if they are taking action against them, because a lot of people say there are racial undertones and stuff here, and we don't know, because I've been at Starbucks many times and bought nothing, and no one has said anything to me. So why
do you have to tip them for sitting there?
Yeah.
That's what I want to know.
So why were these two men, singled out for that? So I don't think right away someone should be fired, but I do think that they need to look into it right away, and if there were racial undertones there, I think
and that's what people are saying. There could be
needs to happen.
racial undertones.
Yeah.
Look, we've posted this story up on our Facebook page. Head over there, tell us what you think. We'd love to hear your thoughts. We've placed the whole story there as well. Something else that is actually moving along, it started in April 4. There was this young girl from Florida. She was a high school student. She's 17 years of age. Now, she went to school and she decided not to wear a bra because she had sunburnt shoulders. The teacher that she was in the classroom with asked her to go to the headmaster's office because she felt it was inappropriate, because she heard one of the male students laughing and making comments about the girl not having a bra on, and the teacher went on to say it was distracting to the boys who were in the class. Now, it went on to say that they asked her to put a second shirt over it, over her shirt that she already had on. They then asked her to jump around to see how her breasts were moving. That still wasn't good enough. So they then sent her to, do you say the infirmary or the, it's infirmary, the nurse's room?
Oh, the nurse,
nurse's
yeah,
room,
they went to the
where they asked her to put Band-Aids over her nipples. I don't get it. I don't quite understand how it can get that far. What do you guys think about this?
Right.
This is
Yeah,
like
I mean,
crazy.
I know, it was.
Well, I agree with the general concept of it. Just that this was obviously not handled with the sensitivity and discretion that it
Yeah.
deserved.
Right.
Because obviously, in a high school or in a middle school or something, you cannot have young girls with, nipples showing through their t-shirts
Yeah.
and stuff. But you think to that age of, maybe you haven't started wearing a bra yet. Or maybe you don't have an adult woman in your life that is
Good point, Katie.
taking you to get that. So I don't like that I read a lot about the teacher even making comments in front of other students.
Yeah.
I do think that's not something you can just let slide, but maybe that girl needed some help, or maybe talk to her parents or take them aside. I don't think that this is something for anyone else to know about. I don't disagree with him wanting you to cover up your nipples, but I think that it's such an age where everything is changing and that needs to be handled with real sensitivity and discretion. So I think pulling her aside and discussing that is appropriate, but not in front of any other students. And
Well,
I don't know.
and it was a female dean of the school that had her jumping up and down and
Yeah,
having her
that
breast
stuff, no.
and it was just, I mean, that is so far out of line.
Yeah.
If that would have been a male dean, that would have never happened.
right.
Had it happened, it would have been outrage completely.
Yeah.
The thing is
But how do you have that conversation with your children when they get home? That was completely unacceptable what your classmate went through.
yeah.
How do you open that conversation with your two boys who might come home and say, Mummy, you wouldn't believe what happened today.
Yeah.
You wouldn't believe what we saw.
Right. Well, I would sit them down. I mean, we would have to have that conversation, and I don't know exactly how I would say it. The situation.
Yeah.
If it was similar, I would. It's. You look at people's faces. Let's not body shame. Let's not talk
Yeah.
about their bodies. The thing is that the school made it a point to shame her, body shame her at this point, and I think that that's the approach that is incorrect, and I think that that's what the school is going to be
Yeah.
working on for the future. I mean, we had a dress code at school. I knew I
Yeah,
had
we
a very
did too.
yeah, I had a very good friend who was sent home. She came to school braless with a t-shirt. They sent her home, and
Yeah.
she could correct the situation and come back, or she could stay at home. It was up to her, and she did. She corrected it and came back. I think that would have been one way to handle it, a better way to handle it. I also think, did somebody have a jacket? Maybe she could throw a jacket
See,
on.
that's my point
I
as
mean,
well. I just think, I'm sure there were better ways to fix this than making her go to the nurse's station
Right.
and put Band-Aids on. I think that was so
that
handled
was-
so badly.
Yes, it was.
Even, I think about my sisters who would have been in that situation, I think they would have been so ashamed.
Yeah.
And I think it's a great way to make girls feel inadequate.
Yeah, and
it's
I
really
think
tough.
that you have
Yeah.
to go back to why did it happen to
Yeah.
begin with, and maybe she didn't. Maybe she doesn't own a bra yet. Maybe
Yeah,
she doesn't
exactly.
have someone to help.
Can't afford it.
Maybe she
Yeah.
just now started needing one. I think
Yeah.
that you should think of maybe the child needs some help to the side, alone,
Yeah.
with sensitivity.
Well,
Exactly.
tell us
I
what
don't
you
know.
think, everyone. Head over to Midday Kentucky's Facebook page. We've also got that story on there. And also we have contests that we're doing. There's so
Yeah.
much happening on that
So much.
Facebook page. Like it so you can see what's happening as well. Hey, everyone. We are live out at Shakespeare & Co. We'll be right back after this short break.